Hello, this is WWE Hall of Famer Mick Foley, and if you want to catch up on the latest in amateur and Olympic wrestling, there's only one podcast to listen to. Subscribe to Baschamania, the Baschamania podcast, and have a nice day. Yeah!
And with that, welcome back. This is episode 74 of the Baschamania podcast. Last week, Big Ten champ Sebastian Rivera announced he was transferring to finish his college career at Rutgers. With Rivera coming back home to Jersey, I thought, why not get him back on the podcast to hear a little bit more about the news? If you haven't subscribed to the podcast, be sure to subscribe wherever you listen. Apple, Spotify, Google, Stitcher, Overcast, wherever you listen to podcasts, be sure to subscribe to Baschamania. And if you enjoy this episode, be sure to leave a 5-star rating and review on Apple Podcasts.
It's Baschamania! Let me tell you something, brother. He gave us everything he had in him tonight. What you gonna do when Baschamania runs wild on you? Oh, it's gonna be a good one. And business just picked up here on the podcast. Oh, yeah.
All right, SEABASS is here. How are you, man?
Good. How about you?
I'm doing good. How are you enjoying
Good.
summer in Jersey?
Man, it's good. It's been hot the last couple of days. Just been hanging out with some friends, so it's been good.
You got to get to a couple more cliffs, dude. I'm definitely having like summer envy. It's like you go from doing backflips, I think it was, off a cliff to jet skiing. I had a jet ski for a little bit, and I know how fun those things are. But
Yeah.
it looks like you're having fun. Before we start talking a little bit about you heading to Rutgers, I got to have a little humble pie, and I've told you about this because you called me out at Big Tens, and you said, sorry to ruin your prediction.
Uh-huh.
And to be fair, for those who listened or don't remember, I had said, I posted a picture of 6 people who are on this podcast and said, I'm thinking there's going to be 5 Big Ten champs here. Now, to be fair, that was before you came on the podcast, but there was obviously Gross and RBY in there. And I was laughing when you said it. At first, I'm like, what? Sorry to ruin your prediction. And I'm like, oh, it made sense. But, man, you know, I was talking to a couple different people about you coming back to Jersey, and my viewpoint has been being at Big Tens and seeing the crowd's love for you. That was nuts, especially to not be someone who's wrestling for a Jersey school. To get that kind of love is wild. And I'm curious, how much did that event contribute to you wanting to head back to Jersey and go to Rutgers to finish out your career?
Not at all.
Really?
Nah. It's cool and all, but I always just had a thing for Jersey. I mean, it's just where I'm from, and I enjoy being here when I do get to spend time here. So it was always in the cards, but that really didn't have much to do with it. Like, it was cool and all. I appreciate the support, but
yeah. Did you have an idea before Big Tens that you wanted to come back to Jersey this year?
I mean, not saying that either. It was just more so of just when I came home from quarantine, it kind of just started to kick in and kind of just started to feel that this is where I wanted to be able to wrestle in front of my grandparents. They're getting older, and my parents and everybody that supported me growing up in New Jersey wrestling. So it was just kind of when quarantine started.
And does it, you know, you mentioned wrestling in front of your family, and I think about pride. Does it give you a sense of pride too, knowing that you're coming back to Jersey to compete at Rutgers as a number 1 in the country? Like, you're coming off winning Big Tens. You're a guy who can elevate the program. You bring in a guy of that caliber, there's almost an amount of pressure and pride. Like, you can now contribute to the growth. It's not like, hey, I want to go here just because I want to get better. It's, I want to come here because I know what I can bring to help elevate to the program. Does that factor into the excitement of coming back to here?
Yeah, no, definitely. I've been wrestling with a lot of the guys and helping them out. Like, when we're wrestling, like, I'm at a wrestling go, I'll just be like, man, you could be doing this and this. And they're like, thank you so much. And it's like, you could just feel the relationships growing just like that. And it's cool to get back to these guys because I've known them my whole life. It's not like they're just new guys to me. So now that I'm actually on the same side as them, I can actually help them and help them grow in their wrestling. So it's been really cool.
And it's comical to me to keep hearing you say in interviews that you're an old guy now because you're still in your young 20s.
I know.
But that's how you feel, and it's that maturity of like, I want to help. And I heard you say on one of the interviews you did about you're not worried about like competing with Soriano, or you're not worried about any strife. Like, you want to help him get better, and you want him to help you get better. Is that like you think just your evolvement through your wrestling career that's where you are now?
Yeah, I mean, like younger me would have been like, oh, I want to beat him every practice. Like this is what I want to do, you know. But like
Right.
now I'm like, man, like if I can get 1% better with him every day, then that's a good day. I mean, that's all we're looking to do. I mean, we're not going to be competing at the end of the day, so what does it matter what happens in the practice room? It's just there to get better. So, yeah, that's just my thought around it.
What do you think was your biggest reasoning for your growth? You know, Stornello did a great interview about how he said this was such big news because of what you've done at Northwestern to become the number one guy. What do you think when you look back at your time at Northwestern helped you to evolve so much while you were there?
Yeah, they're great coaches, Matt and all of them. That helped, but I also think me just coming into what I was. I mean, I was a small guy coming in, and I kind of grew a lot, got a lot stronger, just because of just like natural stuff, you know, just like growing in puberty and stuff. So
Right.
I think that was the biggest, really big thing to do with it. Cody Brewer helped me a lot, obviously, but yeah, that was probably the biggest aspect, is me just growing into a man, honestly.
And you're continuing to grow because there's thick bass comments all over social media.
I am, man. I am.
And it's funny because, you know, you've been talking about how you're going to go 141. If you think about it, it's not that big of a jump because it's my understanding that you just cut a lot to get down to 33. It's not that you're really like bulking up. Like, weren't you cutting a lot of weight to get to 33?
Yeah, it was like 55, 50 last summer. And I'm like only like 5 pounds heavier now.
But for some reason, it's that notion of a wrestler when they look more sucked out, and then if they puff up, it looks like you're so much heavier.
Yeah.
But, you know, you talk about 141, like, what's your plan for this year? I heard when you were telling Ashnell, like, man, to have new guys to get a chance to compete against and train for, like the Nick Lees, the Yannis, Ironmans.
Yeah.
Is it like a resurgence in adrenaline? Like, you don't have any shortage of energy, adrenaline, any of those things. But is like a whole new crowd exciting for you? Yeah,
it was just like last year, you know. There's just different guys you got to watch out for now, and it's just like a whole new playing field every time, and it's cool. And I mean, I already feel like the underdog, which is a good feeling. I like being the underdog. You know, a lot of people count me out, so yeah, I'm just excited to get in there and start scrapping with these guys because I know I can, and it should be a fun season if we have one.
Yeah, for sure. I saw the Ivy Leagues yesterday announced no fall sports, but they'll still be able to compete, you know, hopefully January through March. And they have been talking, too, about maybe making wrestling a one-semester sport just in the winter, which maybe now's the time to do that. But, you know, how's your confidence going into 141? Like, obviously, you have the utmost confidence when you were at 25, at 33. Is that carrying over into 41 now?
Yeah, I still feel like I can compete really well with these guys. I mean, I wrestle a lot bigger guys than 141 pounders and compete. So, yeah, and that's just coming from just training. I mean, I wrestle a lot of big guys. That's where I get the most fun to compete, and that's where it's challenging. Yeah, and I definitely think I can compete with all those guys for sure.
How are you when you're competing with Ashnell? Now, I know you guys have started practicing a little bit. How's that when you guys are going?
It's good, man. We're great for each other. I mean, we both go after each other. We both get each other really tired. It's a great combination when we go. And I'm unfortunate that he got hurt. I want to know if it was kind of my fault a little bit, but I don't know because we wrestled and then a couple of days later he's like blah blah blah. But you know, we're really good for each other. I like wrestling Ash, and there's no pride in there. We're just getting there. We're in there to get better, and that's one relationship I really like when I wrestle.
And do you think, you know, going back to how you feel you're maturing and evolving and wanting to give back, I assume part of that is your dad having an elite wrestling there in Jersey and you wanting to be more a part of that. Did that factor into coming back to Jersey too?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I really enjoy helping these little kids. Like, I do a lot of little kid privates and stuff, but I really enjoy helping little kids just get better at their craft. And a lot of them don't listen, so it might get frustrating here and there. But no, it's a good relationship to have, this being able to work with kids and elevate their game. It's really cool. And yeah, that's why I really like to come back and wrestle in the high school kids. Beating up high school kids is always fun. You know, they always like to talk smack. So it's always fun beating up all the elite guys for sure.
And I imagine too, with you've been talking a lot about you wanting to go to MMA right after wrestling, and your relationship with Frankie Edgar is no secret. I was laughing at the picture yesterday from 8 years ago.
Yeah, like, right? Crazy.
Little Bass.
Yeah.
What was the situation with your MMA plans heading back to Jersey? Like, do you want to start trying to train MMA at all right now, or is it 100% wrestling?
No, like when this whole training camp Frankie's had, I've been helping him with like wrestling, but like it turns into MMA wrestling and this kind of we're on the ground, grappling, wall wrestling. So all things that are important in MMA, I get to do on a weekly basis. So yeah, that's the plan, is just to start training. I'm gonna have to start getting punched in the face soon here, but yeah, it's the plan.
I don't know how anybody wants that.
It's actually, I don't know why, but when I get punched, I kind of like it. I'm like, hit me again. I'm just like, I get angry kind of, you know? And
well,
I feel like me and Frankie have the same.
You start hitting yourself.
Yeah. I feel like me and Frankie have the same mentality with that. Like we get hit, we're like, hit me harder. You can't hit me. Exactly. So it's kind of just like you feed off getting hit.
Do you have, and I say this and kind of knowing the answer, but do you have really high expectations for yourself in MMA because of your relationship with Frankie and because what you've been around growing up there?
In MMA, you're saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you just see every wrestler does pretty well for themselves in MMA. And I don't think that's any different for me. I feel like a lot of us tier wrestlers can transition to MMA really well because wrestling's just – it's about keeping position, and when you can keep position in MMA, you're going to be okay for the basics at least, you know, and then you can evolve from there. But yeah, I really have high aspirations for myself in MMA. I think I can compete well, and depends on the weight I go. But if I cut weight the right way, go 35, maybe even 25, because you got 36 hours to recover, you know. So we'll see. But yeah, I think I can do really well.
What do you think you're most excited for when you think about an MMA career?
Excited for? Just out, like, I don't know. Like, when I see some of these walkouts, like, not now because of the COVID and everything, like, there's nobody in there. But, like, when the people are in there and you walked out and it's just, the place gets loud, it just like, sends chills up my arm, you know? And that gets me super pumped. I'm like, man, I can't wait to be out there walking out to the ring, a bunch of people cheering my name, and then get in there and get ready to bang. So, yeah, that's something I enjoy, and that's something that I really hope I can get going soon.
I can only imagine how much you would pump up a crowd, especially in Jersey, if you replicate what you did at Big Tens with a UFC size audience. Golly. And by the way, speaking of weight cutting, like you had qualified for the Puerto Rican team for the Olympics at 57 kilos. I'm assuming that's not happening now.
Nah, I'm gonna have to wrestle off for 65.
And have you heard anything about that? As far as I know, the U.S. has said nothing for them. Has Puerto Rico said anything about their process?
No, not that I've heard. So hopefully it's just a reprocess. I have to go back down there and requalify for 65.
Is that 100% still the plan? 65 kilos for the Puerto Rico for the Olympics?
Yeah. I think when I made it in December was the last time my body would ever let me do it, but we'll see. I mean, it wasn't a bad cut. I wasn't dying or anything. It was just, I just look sick. I'm like, man, I don't ever want to be that skinny again.
Dude, it's funny. The number of people who come on this podcast, and this podcast is like nothing but the highest level of wrestlers, and who say that the better they feel when they don't cut weight, the better they compete, the more winning they do, the more fun they have. I mean, at this point, I don't understand why anybody cuts weight. Listening to everybody.
A little bit.
Yeah,
I mean, some of us get huge.
No matter what, there's weight cutting, but I'm talking about like going down an extra weight class because you think like, hey, maybe I can, maybe I'll get a championship there. Like, and I understand there's so many different scenarios, but I mean, it sounds like you're saying even now at 41, like you want to have fun, you want to compete strong, you don't want to be worrying about the weight cut and getting distracted.
Exactly. That's what was starting to drag out. It wasn't fun anymore for a while, when I was gone at 25 or even 33 towards some parts at the end of the season, I was getting big and it just wasn't fun. It's just not fun to worry about your weight 24/7. So
what does it become, like a distraction at that point then?
Yeah, you're just always worrying about it. It's on your mind all the time. It's just annoying. You're hungry, thirsty, and you're just thinking about how you got to make weight at the end of the week. So it's just very annoying. But yeah, you're thinking about it all the time.
And I'm imagining too, like, you're going to have, again, at another weight class, it's like you can't catch a break. When you change weight classes, you have just an army of the most insanely talented wrestlers there. And again, Yanni, Ironman, Nick Lee, all these guys, I imagine that's only going to be better for you not to cut weight and focus. Do you have specific plans yet for maybe changing up any training or doing anything different for the different caliber guys you're going to be facing now?
I think we can spend a little bit more time in the weight room. Like Mike's Motives. He's the Rutgers weightlifting coach, but yeah, he has his gym here in Manalapan somewhere that I think I can spend a little bit more time at, focus on getting bigger and turning my muscle into. I don't lift, but everybody says I'm strong. So like that's where if I lifted, I wonder how strong I'd be.
Sure.
So that's what brings questions in my mind. And yeah, I think we should invest more time in the weight room for sure.
What do you think? This is going to be your final year of collegiate wrestling. If it happens, what do you think is the most exciting part for it? Whether it's the weight, whether it's Rutgers, what are you the most excited for?
Rutgers for sure. Just to be home, the rack. But that's like the coolest part. But I'm excited to train with these guys, man. They have so many good guys in the room. It's just gonna be awesome. Like we're just gonna be a bunch of killers, lightweights, So I'm excited for that. We're gonna have just a plethora of lightweights that want to get in there and bang. And now it's just gonna be a hard nosed room every day. Like there's not gonna be an easy day for me, which is awesome, and that's what I'm excited for.
Yeah, from Alvarez to Ashnall, if Soriano comes back, like that room in the lightweights is just, what a 1-2 punch. I've heard some people say Soriano might go 25 if it is so close to the Olympics. But either way, with you guys both at 25 and 41, and 33 and 41, like where do you think Rutgers lands? Assume the season goes on as normal, right? Where do you think Rutgers finishes the season?
Like nationals, you're saying?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't even know how this stuff works. Couldn't even tell you.
Do you think top 5, top 10?
I would say top 10, hopefully. I don't know about top 5. I think you need more than 3 or 4 guys to be top 10, a top 5 team, But I think we can be top 10. And I think I don't even know how some of these guys are because I've never seen them wrestle. Some of the guys that are going to be in the lineup, like I don't know how they are, how these red shirts pan out. I know they were good, but college is a different animal. So that all depends too.
I appreciate the realist, the humility, because if you ask typical Jersey wrestling fans, where's Rutgers going to finish the year? It's number 1. We're going to win it all this year. Yeah. But you're coming into it like I don't know how some of these guys are, and with COVID and quarantine, you haven't even been able to go in the room at all, right?
Yeah, I haven't not been to Rutgers now.
That's wild. All right, man. Last thing here before I let you go. What are your plans for this weekend? I need to hear the summer adventure. What's on deck?
It's supposed to rain all weekend, but I'm hoping I get my ski back. I broke a wearing on my ski.
Ooh.
And it's just I had to bring it into the shop. It's gonna cost me some money. I'm sad about it, but hopefully I get it back before the weekend. I get to rip around. I haven't been on it in like a week, so it's been upsetting. But it's just we'll be chilling. I don't know, normal stuff. Hit F Cove up. I don't know if you know what F Cove is.
No.
But it's like this place where everybody parks their boats. It's in the shape of an F. It's like a cove. So like I don't know if you've ever been like a lagoon.
I've been over by Lavalette. Is it over?
It's in Brick. It's across the bay.
Okay. I was gonna say I think I've heard it before.
You definitely had to. It's just it's a landmark. It's a landmark. It's nuts. Just it's crazy over there. That's all I can say. I'll leave it at that. But yeah, maybe end up over there for a little bit.
Yeah, I might have to come down soon and hop on those. So, all right, listen, man, go enjoy the day. Thank you for spending a few minutes in the show. I'm sure it won't be the last time.
Nah, for sure. Thanks for having me, Justin.
All right, man.
See you soon.
And that is it for today's episode. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed this conversation as much as I did. If you did enjoy this episode of the podcast, be sure to leave a 5-star rating and review on Apple Podcasts, and be sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on more episodes. For more wrestling content, be sure to follow Baschamania on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and follow me. I'm at JBash on Instagram and at JustinJBash on Twitter. I'll be back with another episode shortly. See ya.
And the beat goes on.